If I can start introducing the project. So my name is Zach Poison. I'm with Bowler Engineering. I'm doing the site development for this site. We're also updating the building. As you can see, these are the elevation plans. So the intent of this is just to really get it before everyone, before we start going into the official public hearings and all of that, and just be as transparent. Just because we know of the location and we want to be, inviting for everyone to come and see and have any questions before we get into the actual designs and we can implement those. So, like I said, we're trying to revamp the building. Ultimately, we're also going to be rotating the drive-through window to the back side with the intent of having drive-through traffic end up on Hope Street. Off of Hope Street, by getting the drive-through traffic to Hope Street, that will help alleviate some of the traffic concerns at the front of the building, so that it's much easier for those using the store to be able to reverse and then get back out into South Main Street. So that's really the whole objective of this, is to really make it a little bit better for customers, both using the drive-through and also providing a little bit more parking for customers, and just make it an overall better circulation pattern for on-site. So like I was saying, I'm going to be updating the building facade a little bit, and forgive me if you can't see this, but I will try my best to kind of point out what's going on. So as I was saying, the drive-through is currently on this side here. We'll be rotating it to this corner of the building and eventually using the existing kind of curb cut onto Hope Street, so that we can take the drive-through traffic and utilize Hope Street for exiting of the drive-through. This will leave in the front of the store much more open. There will be no traffic other than people that are using and actually going into the restaurant and then leaving. So we have that left or right coming onto South Main Street being dedicated for them. Really looking to also expand on parking, so we'll be adding a couple more stalls where the drive-through used to be. That's going to be for employee parking, so we can again try and make this a little bit more user-friendly for the customers as they're coming in and out. I guess that's really the project in a nutshell. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Does anyone have any other questions, concerns about this? And
the Main Street entrance, is that going to be entrance and exit, or just an entrance?
it will still be a full access movement.
Anybody, the dine-in, call it dine-in.
Yep.
They don't have to drive through, come out this time.
Mm-hmm.
With employee parking, with additional parking you added, I don't know.
So because the drive-thru is going away, we are sliding these. We're adding a stall here, but then also utilizing the existing kind of drive-through lane that will be kind of pulled through for employees. So it'll help kind of get some of the employees that are working there outside of these, more accessible parking stalls, which can be used for customers.
So what you're saying is you're still going to have the entrance from South Main to go around the back for
Yes.
the drive-through.
Yes,
But instead of coming back out, you're going to go onto Hope Street.
exactly. Yep.
So you're still going to run into people trying to get in
Yeah,
to
and
South
that's-
Main Street.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You can't even go by in the morning to go to work because they're blocking the road to turn in. Then you got the north side coming in.
I live on Hope Street,
Mhm.
and to try to get out of Hope Street sometimes, you either go left or right. I'm below Dunkin' Donuts,
Mhm.
and sometimes I'm there for a while before some nice person lets me cut in because there's so much traffic
Mhm.
trying to get in there from both sides.
Agreed. Yeah, so the idea behind this again is we're hoping to split that traffic so that we have, in the gaps, there's an ability for 2 driveways now to be used for leaving the Dunkin' Donuts. So, again, customers, they have their own exit onto South Street and
Yeah.
then now Hope Street. So we're trying to just, I guess, divert and not funnel the customers, the store customers,
Now,
and the drive-through
there's
customers.
the line going north to turn in there. Coming south, can they go in that other entrance?
This entrance up here.
Just
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that one, just to go in and park or?
Oh, yeah, yes, yep, that's still staying as is, and it's a full access movement, left
But
and
there's
right
still
into
people
and
going
out.
through drive-through.
The drive-through isn't coming out that exit anymore, it's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but that ain't gonna help.
Waiting
gonna
to
reduce
get
the traffic.
into the drive, into the window.
So-
It's still
Yeah.
online.
There's still gonna be a long line. They should hire a detail, I'm sorry.
The main issue is anyone going southbound, making that left. And not everyone is using the parking lots. In the morning, they're grabbing their coffee and going back to work, so everybody's using the drive-through. So everybody's making that left. I live in Proto Street, down the street 2 blocks. It doesn't affect me too much because I leave at 5 in the morning. But on the weekends, it's a total nightmare, around 8, 9 o'clock. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the same during
Yes.
every
of
weekday.
course.
Okay, I'm not there to see that. But I actually say poor people that live here. So it's making that left, and sometimes they make the left and they block the whole
Exactly.
north.
You know, and you can't.
Is there any way, I mean, this would be a town question,
We
to
are,
make a dedicated left turn? I don't think we can make Main
Yeah,
Street
'cause
wider.
it's not owned by the-
It's-
it's not
Exactly,
owned by
it's
the-
the highway, right?
It's a
The
state,
state.
yeah, state road.
I was just thinking, can we make a dedicated left turn there?
Here?
A dedicated left turn there?
On South Main
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
Oh, dedicated
Yeah,
into the restaurant.
left only,
Okay.
so that way that traffic's still moving.
Because sometimes
I
you
know,
got
it's
tractor
just-
trailers that park on that side and they run across the street, so you can't get by.
In terms of business-wise, I understand the improvement that Dunkin' Donuts is gonna have. But I don't live in Hope Street. I don't know how much it's gonna alleviate them. I see that, yes, you won't have the congestion in the parking lot and the left and the right turn.
Most of the traffic is early in the morning.
Yeah,
In the morning.
and I think it's like it
10
lasts
o'clock in
for
the morning.
an hour and a half or so, and then
Yeah.
it clears out.
what I hope is that with the cars exiting here, it won't cause as much as a bottleneck. Like, there won't be as many people fighting to get in and
To
out.
get in, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
There's
what
still
really
gonna be a
everybody's
pitch coming
jockeying
out.
for position.
You make a good point. By adding the additional parking lot and not having those people come around the building, I think you'll have more people that actually use the parking lot, because it'll be easy to get out now. I mean, that's at least the.
And we're also
the hope.
doing some technology stuff too. We're gonna get a iPad where an employee at those peak times, they can come out and essentially there'll be like a moving menu board.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to come out here and take cars all.
Your
Okay.
manager was,
They
your
get
manager was
them moving.
testing it.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A does that.
Yes, we already have that actually in
Yeah,
the
she was-
works right now.
That would make
The
it
manager
quicker
was
to get
testing that.
through.
What's her name, Lisa?
Yeah, Lisa's my sister, yeah, we're partners.
Yeah, there was, I remember going through a drive-through once and they came up and said, what's your order?
They were doing it,
They
yeah,
were doing
like 10,
testing,
but we're
yeah.
actually gonna have where they can take payment on the terminal. They type it in, the stickers print out there, so somebody can already be getting, for instance, a car that's here, their coffee ready. And, you know, hopefully even bring it out to them, maybe even get them out before they even get to the window and they can bypass the line.
Carlos.
If it's just one coffee.
Question, a lot of the stuff I bet is going to be people ordering like 20 sandwiches in drive-through when they should be going into the store.
Not quite that many, but.
But you know, what I'm going with
Yeah.
this is that people ordering like 30 things and holding up a line
Yeah.
versus going to the store. So maybe something like capping out a quantity, I don't know if that's
Yeah,
possible.
we could do that. Usually if we feel that sandwiches, like a lot of sandwiches are gonna hold up the line, what we'll do is we'll have a car pull up and they'll run it out to them.
Okay.
That's, you know, I mean, if someone ordered 20 sandwiches, we're not gonna.
No, I know,
do
but
that,
you got people that just, they
But
order
if-
for the whole
If they get like
SUV and
5,
it's like,
6,
yeah.
yeah, at that point, we're telling them to pull up and maybe
Just a
just pull
thought.
to the side and run it out to them.
Should be
I mean, we can make that a bigger policy.
any more than 3 sandwiches,
Yeah,
they should have to go in. I
yeah,
know there are places up in the Boston area, any more than 2 orders, you gotta go in.
yeah. So more than,
Not more than anything.
more than a number, we kind of try to judge that by the time they're at the window. So if they're at the window for like over 2.5 minutes and such, then that's when we want, if it's gonna take up that much time, that's where we run into the issue more than a number, it's more of a time. Where we more focus on the time than either holding up the line. We don't want them holding up the line either. You know, we want,
Because
we want
between
flow.
the sandwiches, the espresso machine, because again, I used to work.
Yeah.
It would take a while to make. I
Yeah,
understand, I'm not trying to impede on your business, believe me.
yeah.
But stuff that could expedite the line to go through the drive-through quicker, maybe during that window of time that it's busiest,
Yeah,
just cut things back a little bit, and then once they then open up.
that's definitely something we can explore.
Yeah, because I know like when you order stuff in app, they'll say, oh, this product is not available right now, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
because you're out of stock, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking you could do the same thing during those times to prevent people from ordering unless they're going in.
We can't prevent them from ordering, we can tell them they would have to come inside. Yeah, there's no, as far as I know, there's no way to just shut it off and drive through, like, or maybe just put up a sign saying you can't order this
Right.
at, or maximum amount between this time, 4 sandwiches, 3 sandwiches, whatever it would be.
Yep.
And we could do a sign or something like that, that time frame people are concerned about.
I have a question. I was just wondering, going out on Hill Street is good, but there's a lot of traffic parked, cars parked sometimes on both sides of Hill Street there. Will there be like limitations to how Hill Street parks?
Like no parking on that side.
Yeah,
on
right.
one side.
You're talking about on Hope Street on the side of Dunkin'?
When
yes,
they're
right,
coming
yeah.
out, yes.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
would
cars
talk
parked
about
across
having
the
no
street.
blocking.
Most people park there, if they run into this, they run in.
Sometimes it would be kind
I
of,
could tell them not to enforce it.
Yeah.
But, we're thinking of putting no parking there, like, that's why we want the additional employee parking, to get the employees off of that street and into our parking lot, so they're not on the street.
Carlos, I don't know if it's an option, if you ever thought, you go in the same drive-through, you come right back out onto Main Street, straight out to the drive-through. One way in, one way out.
It's too close.
Yeah,
You
too
would
close.
really
We would be-
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be too close to this intersection, unfortunately.
Even it's kept.
I know that's a problem too, going into the drive-through, the lines there, you try to go into the front, you go inside, you can't, it's just confusing.
Yeah, I know, I run into the same issues when I go there in the morning, that's really why, I wanna, we think this would help, this is like the best solution that we could come up with as far as a parking lot layout, there's other things like we could do as far as technology, limited on sandwiches, but,
It's definitely
as
a
far
group
as
effort.
layout.
Yeah, it's definitely a group effort between what we're trying to do on site and what we're trying to do in the store.
They're gonna need enough help to do all that, if they don't. Nothing against you guys.
Yeah, it's a difficult labor market.
I go there all the time in the morning, and they cater to the drive-thru, and you're sitting there waiting, and you're gonna come up your ass, you know what I mean? I don't think it's right.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with they can't see. So the store is poorly designed this image, where when they're in the drive-thru and you're standing at a counter, if you have a 5'6" person, 5'5" person, they can't see people at the counter when they're at the drive-thru. And with our new remodel, have you been in the new Dunkins? They're really wide open.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm just asking.
yeah, that's actually one of our locations. So that'll help that.
They agree.
Yeah, I hate how these stores were before. You can't see the customers. It's been a problem for 10 years. In every location that
Are they
has
gonna
that
put
image.
windows on that? Oh, that's where your bathrooms are, on the right side. Yeah, so where it says Acushnet runs on Dunkin, on the side facing the drive-thru, is there an opportunity to put windows so that people can see from the counters? If the drive-thru
On the
back
side.
up? Yeah.
On the side.
Or you gonna put cameras in place?
Over there, no, there is cameras. There are cameras, but we can't put windows there.
That's where the
My
bathroom-
walk-in freezes against that one.
How about your deliveries? I noticed the delivery trucks block that street right off. And same thing with.
Hope Street, yeah.
And I see the ambulances.
There's no
I
other
see,
place to.
Yeah, that's a difficult.
Not much you can do about that.
Yeah.
There's no other place for them to drop off the delivery.
They have talented drivers that could get into the parking lot. The thing is, when they go into the parking lot,
Getting out to a channel.
they would back in all the way over here, and then the thing would be, where do these cars go? They would all go to the street, so, so that
I'm
the
just saying
truck
that's
delivery
gonna-
could fit in
That's
there.
gonna tie up that, that side street. And the
Yeah,
delivery-
when they
guy
deliver,
comes-
they would park the same place they do now, but it's 2 deliveries a week And the average time is about 45 minutes per delivery.
What time,
I can tell them to leave real quick.
what time do you usually your deliveries? In the AM or
What
PM?
we get them, the times shift a little, but it'll always be between 11 and 1 p.m. on a Tuesday and Friday.
Do you find it's just the morning that's the busiest time, or is it,
Yeah, it's the 7 to 9 a.m.
and then late afternoon, people getting out of work, grab a coffee before they get home?
Well, yeah, you get that. It's not as bad as in the morning.
Yeah.
I know morning's bad. I go around, go across Nye Avenue and go that way because I can't get out on Hope.
And we're hoping a lot more people will come inside too, because it is, for a person coming inside the store, it's difficult because they kind of get stuck with all the cars coming out of the drive-through to
Yeah.
back up, and we think people will utilize it more.
I mean, I had a Dunkin' Donuts about right where I lived. I would go to it every morning. I would always park, even if, because usually the drive-through was, out on the street. So I was like, the parking was a lot more accessible, and I was actually able to go in. I used the mobile app, go in, order as I was locking my door, order it, and then by the time I was getting there, it was ready. So I'd be in a parking lot for 45 seconds because it was already done. while I was
You
there.
do the same thing I do. I'll sit down, I'll wait till I get to the store,
Yep.
get backed up, I'll switch the order to walk-in and then submit it.
The mobile app's great. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know why more
It's
people
a
take
lifesaver
advantage of
sometimes.
it.
And I'm sure that'll be part of the program, and part of this is, saying more about the mobile app, so.
I think, I can use this every day, I think the challenge is, and everybody said it, is getting people off South Main Street. And you're limited on lanes, I get it, right? And then, I don't know if you can do like a 2-lane entrance, you're gonna lose parking. I think that's the only way to get people off Main Street onto your property, would be like a lot of Mickey D's, Chick-fil-A
You're
kind of,
talking
you
about
have two,
widening.
no, you have 2 lanes that will
Like the new Fons Corner one,
That'll
it's got the
merge.
double drive-through.
yeah, that'll merge into one. Of course, right, it affects your personnel, right? 'Cause now you're potentially trying to move all these cars, right, double the cars, right? 'Cause you're going to merge into a single. I think that's my biggest challenge. I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's life, right? Life's not perfect. And I think that's the ultimate goal, is get them off South Main Street, right? Let's keep South Main Street flowing. The only way I would think to do it is double lanes, so you get more car on your property coming, but you're limited on lane. I'm not a traffic engineer on the second point I'm gonna say, is you're just moving the exit to the other side. I'm not a traffic engineer. I mean, there's challenges on, because you're shifting stuff. If you're still coming out, you're not coming out the same point,
Yeah.
right?
Well, if you think of like a pipe, if your water's flowing through a pipe through one exit, but then you split that exit, it's a lot less going in different directions, right? So
Unless they're going to the same point. I'm not a traffic engineer. You can be totally right, it's a 50-50, right? I've seen a lot of like type of stuff like that. And I guess, not my last point, my point for now, I mean, if you try to push like, hey, let's limit this, let's make people go inside, you just created a problem again. Because now you got people pumping out of there again. But to me, my opinion from living 200 feet down the street, if maybe 100 feet down the road, is just trying to get by.
Yeah.
Just trying to get, and again, it is what it is, right? But the only way, you gotta get people off South Main Street, I think. How do you do that?
You're talking, yeah, because the cars that stop waiting to get by.
Yeah, so how do you get them out of
Move
there?
a lot faster by not having cars coming in and out at the same driveway. That's the big problem. You got a lot of cars trying to come in, and a lot of cars trying to get out, and they're all jammed up. One guy's coming this way, and the other guy wants to turn this way. If you,
Yeah.
by doing that, you're gonna eliminate, you just have one route of traffic going in, and one route of traffic coming out. I think it'll eliminate a lot of the big problems around.
Except the
on Main
people
Street.
that are going in inside, but
Yeah, you
less
can't go in and
people.
out in the same driveway. Just come in one way, go out the other way.
The other thing
Unless you park there, could take takeout, and that could cause another
The
problem.
other thing
too.
about making that left, sometimes people take shortcuts, so they hug, because they want to get off of South Main, so they're trying to
Yeah.
make that left, they hug the exit point,
Exit,
so
yeah.
now people can't get out, so I mean, that idea the gentleman here.
Nobody pays
About
attention to
splitting that into
themselves.
two, yeah, if you could split that into two, make it dedicated, in only, out only, so that it don't share the same entry point. I know the errors kinda is a given, but nobody follows those errors.
Zach, if though changing anything along this street requires the state.
Yeah, that would be
Ah,
DOT.
okay.
Yep. Um, Yeah, so back to kind of the pipe analogy, really trying to make the front of the store more inviting, more accessible. And again, that would help really divert that traffic. We get more customers coming into the store, less at the drive-through, and now we basically have 2 exits on South Main Street. So that's really what we're aiming for. And then with the iPads coming out and we're getting orders, we're getting them through the drive-through lane faster. Again, trying to alleviate the congestion at this point here so that the lefts and the rights coming into the store are helped, and trying to get them again off of South Main
And
Street.
like everything else, there's gonna be a learning period, where people are still gonna be used to the old way.
So a real hope
You
is
might have what,
if somebody's taking a left and somebody is coming out, this is where the problem happens.
Yeah.
Now we don't have as many people coming out, so they can
Yeah.
get in there. You know,
Why can't you make that entrance bigger so someone coming north and south, they can go in at the same time?
it would require the state.
It's
So,
a-
and they're very difficult.
Yeah,
They can be, yes.
they have to widen the cut.
Yeah.
Even if we were to cut, you know how you have like the hedges in the front there? If you were to cut back on your hedges and make, like on that side there, so people can come in and out more, or the other side, would you have to notify the state on that?
You
Because that's
mean
still your
make this
property,
thinner?
right?
Which way do you mean cut back? This way?
yeah, that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything widening this
Either
entrance.
this
would-
way or this way, would you have to notify the state?
Yes, anything would, I would have to go.
But that's
Because it
your
requires a
property,
curb cut, they
though.
gotta widen the sidewalk. They have to widen the entrance on the
And I
sidewalk.
think that, is there limitations on how wide or? is that- yeah.
They have their own design standards that we have to meet.
That's the reason we
Couldn't go
can't
from
put an
variance
exit
or
over
like that.
here, is because of the state.
I don't know if it would be a variance,
They would
what,
just be
I'd have to
the
kind of
road
run some turning movements and
The
then
hedges
assess
out would be your
how wide we're
property,
going.
right?
Yeah,
And then
but
start
I could cut back
communications
the
with
hedges,
DOT.
but I would still have to leave a sidewalk curb,
Yeah.
so.
The curb is what's the problem.
Yeah.
When they have to come in and cut the curb, that's when.
Yeah. Unfortunately, as soon as we cross this line here, that's when the state has to get
Now, what
involved.
about on Hope Street, because the state don't own that?
That's local. Yeah.
So you can go to the town, no?
I'm sorry, what's that?
If to make a driveway going out on Hope,
But there is one already. There's an
Well, there's
opening
one
there
right
already.
there, we're just asking,
Yeah.
for modification.
Yeah, because there's an opening there
Yeah,
already.
there is.
We can't go out, like, say, open up down here is because the state, because we start encroaching.
Well, it's two things. One, it's this,
There's
yeah,
75-foot buffer.
yeah.
By the way, my name's Dr. Smith, I'm the town planner, so just from my perspective of it, obviously it's going to alleviate a lot of that bottleneck issues that we're having over here currently. I understand the concerns where there are a lot of issues right now with people turning off South Main Street into Dunkin' Donuts. But a lot of the traffic that's coming out over here, yeah, it's going to create another congestion point over here, but it also gives the option to turn
To
on
go
Hope
right.
Street and turn around and then
And-
go up towards Town Hall and where.
You can go up, was it John Street?
Off
it?
off the top of my head, there, I think it's
Isn't
Garfield.
it John Street,
Yeah.
go up
Yeah,
and
John
around
Street.
that
Yeah,
way?
no, exactly, so it's
You know
just
your
kind of
way around
alleviating
town,
some of
you
those
can-
traffic
yeah.
concerns, and I mean, that might be the best option for some drivers that are coming through at that point in time, if they see the congestion that's already occurring over here, they're gonna wanna bypass that entirely.
No left turn.
And we could, yeah, that was, sorry, I should have explained at the beginning too. We would have signage saying there is other options for using Hope Street. You don't have to take a left onto Hope Street to get back to South Main. Depending on where you're going, we would give that directional signage so that people are informed and know of better routes,
you should
less
make it no
congestion.
left turn and let them go up.
Yeah, those go up,
That's gonna
That's what-
get rid of all the congestion on South Main.
That would eliminate a lot of it.
come down on Home Street.
I know.
You guys are the boss, I understand that, but you're still gonna be congested there, no matter what.
So don't want to floodgate this
Yeah,
neighborhood.
that's like the other piece of it, is that the people.
No, I know, you're
there
damned if you
that-
do and damned if you don't, unless you get a cop and let them direct traffic.
Understood.
You want to
It's
be on the side all
That's
day.
gonna be
with a
pretty
cop.
expensive.
Yeah.
Daily detail would be.
No, I understand
The
that.
cops are gonna love it for the overtime, but.
Yeah, it's a 4-hour minimum, so.
So,
Overall, I think
the
like the
ball
plan.
next where you come in and out.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
You're looking at that picture to the right.
Over on this area over here.
Right there, to the
Yes.
right of the drive.
Yep.
I
Make
bet
a
house
separate
will call.
entrance for the drive-through only, because when you first pulling in, you want to park in front of the store, now you have people coming.
To be able to do that, it's going to require us
It's a shit
getting the
show.
state involved. And that's where we're kind of running into the issues at this point. Once the state gets involved, it's not necessarily we have limited say, they're just very difficult to work with at times. So that would require this to be extended further. And as they had mentioned, cutting into the sidewalk over here and getting the state involved again. So being able to create a dedicated drive-through lane might not be an option, possibly along the edge over here, and then have the traffic come back together in the middle over here once they're already in the parking lot. But beyond that, that's when things get a little bit trickier at that point. And then having it extend over here, there's a 75, from my understanding, there's a 75-foot buffer zone that they have to maintain for an exit from the state-owned road. So that's why they would be able to have this exit up here as long as it moves forward with their modification.
That would work,
Yeah.
provided the drive-through keeps moving.
Yeah.
You don't have somebody order 4 or 5 sandwiches.
No, absolutely. I think what Carlos is saying with the technology they're planning on bringing in, that's going to alleviate a lot of that issue of getting the line moving, getting people through the drive-through at that point in time. So it's just having employees there, being able to have the technology available and getting things moving forward.
In my years of going through there, the drive-through comes to a stop, and you have somebody ordering more than 2 items. That's when it comes to a stop.
Yep. I think that's something we'd be able to address.
And I've also seen times where they'll sit there and sometimes people at the window will be chit-chatting with the driver.
That's true. That is
I've seen that. It's like, look, we're trying to get this moving along here, you know, so.
I don't see that too much in the mornings. I mean,
They are, they will not get.
I get it, you got kids there, I get it.
And I know overall plan would be to have no parking all the way along here, kind of eliminating the current parking situation that's there, because a lot of you are familiar with the area over there. It's kind of a gravel road on that area, that portion of it. So it'd be eliminating that, having it as a landscaped buffer between the building and Hope Street for the neighbors, and really enforcing the whole no parking order that's over there. And then tractor trailers will have to figure out another way to.
Thanks, Bob.
Has anybody approached the state on, widening it, or is there a big time factor?
On Hope Street.
On construction?
Hope Street.
They're when we say difficult to work with, it means they have staff shortages, and trying to get an answer from them can be a little bit difficult. We might be able to start going conversations, but we wanted to have this first.
So that's what my question was, there a time limitation on the remodel?
It really it comes down to time.
Yeah, okay, because the Commonwealth is stubborn, but it isn't that big of a deal.
We got,
They're doing the survey
right now,
for
the
South
survey's
Main
kind
Street,
of
right?
falling apart.
I believe so.
What are the odds of them during this survey process adding that left turn lane?
That's a great question. I haven't been in on that conversation in terms of what they're looking to do with South Main Street at this time. I know some talks have been
Do we
occurring.
have any input into any of this?
There would be town input in going into that. I think that's just going to be a larger thing that's eventually going to have to go to town meeting and get town feedback on all that and what we would like to see for the design standards of South Main Street overall. But I don't have much knowledge on that at the moment.
Because I would almost think with, progress, I mean, the town's gonna get bigger, eventually we get the train, all this, there's gonna be more traffic.
Absolutely.
There's going to be more of a problem there, so this is just a temporary solution, I would think.
Doesn't the state want the town to take over that, South Main Street? Was there talk about that?
They had mentioned it, but I don't necessarily know what direction the town's going to be heading in with that at this time.
I know they wanted the town to take over South Main Street. And then they were talking about plowing
I
and...
hope they don't, trust me.
That was the proposal, but I'm not too sure what the direction that's heading in at the moment. So I've heard opposition on both sides and people in favor of it and people not in favor of it. So
I think the big left turn lane's gonna almost be.
no, absolutely. I mean, I think like overall, like on South Main Street, having a 3-lane design where you have a dedicated turn, either right or left turn in the middle, where people can just pull off into the middle, and then you have your dedicated travel lanes on either side. It would make sense overall.
I think you need to ask our state rep to get involved if you want to widen the driveway. I mean, that's why we have state representatives.
I mean, widening it is something that we could always explore into the future. I mean, like the project doesn't need to be delayed like the state continued. year, right, over a year to get back, to get something approved.
Right
Yeah.
now, yeah.
So, I mean, that is something we can explore after the remodel occurs, because we're just talking about if we had to make a modification, it's just cutting the curb, fixing the sidewalk, and putting some blacktop down,
How long do you
we don't
think
think it would have to.
this change is gonna take?
From a construction standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a 2-week project probably. Because, not because of the outside, more from the inside. We're doing a lot of work on the inside.
So it's gonna be this next year?
I'm trying for March.
2023.
Yes.
It's a good idea, wired in that lane, but they're still gonna be fighting to get into the drive-through.
Yeah.
If you come right.
Yeah.
Understood. We just hope it's less people.
Yeah.
Fighting
Some
for it.
people pull in for walking, that's all we're gonna do. Because they can back up easier.
Don't have to worry about people coming to the drive-through.
Carlos, I would suggest you try no more than 3 spots to the drive-through. Any more than 3, you gotta go in.
So, I would need to, so that's something I have to take for permission, which they would grant, they do grant special stuff like that, but I don't know if 3 items is the right amount, if it was, because
3 coffees, 3 sandwiches. That's what you might
I don't know where,
do.
like, I would have to look into the other locations I've done in the past to know what the right amount is. But before, like, obviously, when you get 4 sandwiches, I know that's too much, that's why we pull cards out. But I don't know, like, coffees don't tend to hold up the drive-through, it's more of the food, because you only have a limited capacity. So coffee, you can, put 2 people on, pumping it out, it's usually just the food.
In my experience, says they're watching the guys handing out 2, 3, 4 bags.
Yeah.
Is that,
No, I agree, yeah.
you have that as an existing policy now, or?
I'm saying it's a trial.
We don't have a written policy, but we do tell the employees to use their best discretion on when to pull out cars.
Yeah.
Like I said, when the time frame, gets up, we have a time, by the way,
Yeah.
for how much time the car took from the window, from the menu board to the window, how long they're sitting at the menu board. So we think like after 3 minutes at a window, that's a really long
Right.
time, 3 minutes. We want somebody out of the window in 1 minute. 1 minute. So if they're there 3 minutes, you're already 3 times what our standard is. It's going to take that long. We think they should pull out.
I guess an idea on that north side, Oak Street, if you eliminate nobody can park there.
Yeah.
My thought process, right, is allow delivery truck, like, no stand-in parking, right? Allow delivery guy to park there, and potentially do it from like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The residents can allow parking there, so the residents can park there. They come home at night, you got a multi-family across the street, so the people who live there can park between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Not that busy, right?
No, there's specific.
Allow parking during certain times. I think that's probably gonna help alleviate and not impact the neighbors as much, allow the delivery guy to have a place to park. This is not easy, right?
No, I mean, like, that's a specific
Just an
thing.
idea,
It's something we could absolutely look at. I mean, I had a conversation with the ZBA, but that's definitely something we can explore about having specific parking times, no parking times between this time and that time. Whether it's 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. you're allowed to park or something along those lines. We'll have to figure that out from a traffic standpoint, and then it would make sense overall just to have delivery trucks as long as they're hugging the building more than they are on Hope Street. That would alleviate some of the concerns with the tractor trailers kind of blocking everything off.
So I would add a caveat to that.
Yep.
We already have something like that, like at Rochelle's, across the street, that little dirt path that they put in. People still park there. There needs to be enforcement as well, on top of this. We can't just sit there and throw signs up and expect people to pay attention to the signs. I know personally, I've called a couple of times about the guys that park at the corner of Evergreen and Main Street. Because somebody actually put cones out there. They actually get out of the car, move the cones over and park in the spot. So there needs to be enforcement, so there needs to be something said to the cops to.
Yeah, no, I think overall.
If we're gonna do this, that needs to be a caveat. that we-
Yeah, no, overall, this is gonna have, like, the Board of Selectmen are gonna wanna see this too. They're gonna wanna speak a little bit on it and get an overall idea of what the project is moving forward. I mean, further than that, it's gonna be a conversation with the police department and seeing what enforcement possibilities there are. And then just getting the police chief and the police department on board with being able to enforce that. I mean, they do spend a lot of time on South Main Street as is, so it's just seeing what they can do in that area.
And actually, if the cars are blocked off, the fire truck has to get by with the ambulance. They can't get through.
But to make a designated line to pull in, aren't you gonna have to go to the state for that?
Well, so, I mean, to widen this, we would have to go to the state.
No, I mean on South Main. Make
An
a
arrow.
thing just to say turn, or you can go straight.
That would be a
That would
statement.
be-
So that's
State
the
that's
thing.
Yeah.
So that's gonna take forever too.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is do everything we can right now. That way we can get the store, updated, and then hopefully, I mean, this will improve the traffic situation on site with what we have available to us on the time frame that we can work with. And then if we need to, possibly go back to the state and see if we can get that process done.
So what, I pull in, I order, I don't know what the original plan, but you gotta move the order board more towards the street.
Order board's staying about where it
Staying in
is.
the
Yeah, staying in the
same
same
location.
spot.
When you pull in and you order your coffee, that's where the problem begins. There are too many cars coming in for the volume you're putting out. You need to limit the number of people during that time or the amount that they're ordering.
So
That would eliminate the problem.
that's why we think the technology part helps, because so you can only make so many orders, the amount, it's called the car stack, from the menu board to your window. That's all you're able to make, because nobody's placed an order yet. With the tablet stuff, they can increase that car stack, take more orders. And so you're preparing a car's order way before they even get to the window, which, keeps it flowing. Because once they get there, their order's already made, you have so much time. So if you're taking the car's order over here, you have about 10 minutes before they get there. So when they get there, whether they have 1 coffee or 7, the employees have plenty of time to hear the whole thing.
You're counting on the customer that either use their phone.
No, we're counting on the employee with a tablet going out. It's
Okay.
basically a movable menu board register. And, once they type that in, a sticker prints up, caramel, 2 sugars, whatever prints out, and they can make that way before they even get to the speaker.
Again, the problem's gonna be somebody wanting 3, 4, 5 items to the drive-through. They should go in. They should go in.
Not by pre-ordering it.
Huh?
You need-
Not by pre-ordering it, it won't make a difference.
Yeah.
If you pre-order like that, somebody comes out.
Yeah, 'cause-
look, you order a whole bunch of stuff, it's already made, but
It's
if you
not-
get there.
Yeah, if you were able to do that, you put 2 people making coffees instead of just 1, right? Because now they're getting plenty of orders in that you can staff that beverage station with 2 people and,
I think you're still gonna have to back up until you limit the number of people, the number of orders in the drive-through.
Yeah, I
You're
believe,
gonna have it.
like, going back to before, what I said, it's mostly the capacity with the sandwich station that I agree with. Because when you put a sandwich into the oven, and we have 2 ovens, they take time to cook, there's only so much volume, you can't, make it cook quicker. So, that I agree, yeah, the sandwiches,
I've been going to your store forever.
yeah.
I stopped going there because of the hassle going in and out of the store. And I usually walk into the store. Until you eliminate the number of people that don't want to get out of their car and go in and get 4 orders, you're gonna have a backup there.
And that's something we could explore. I don't want to limit coffee, the number of coffees, because typically you're not going to get people getting more than 4 coffees. I think that's pretty
No,
much.
you're right.
But,
Coffees don't take any time to make
Yeah.
4 sandwiches.
yeah, that takes longer. That's, if we limit the number of coffees, you're just basically going to have nobody going into the drive-thru if it's 2 coffees.
No,
I'm just being honest.
I'm saying,
Well, you're going to have everybody going in for 1, but,
not just sandwiches. I mean, not just coffee, sandwich. I've seen people, 2 orange juices, 2 coffees, a latte, and 3 or 4 cent, you know,
Yeah.
boom. Those people.
No, I agree, there is an amount that is excessive. Where that amount is, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to, like, I don't think it's at 2 coffees or 3
I'm
coffees.
saying,
Yeah.
more than 2 or 3 sandwiches,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a backup.
Yeah,
I would call it 3 at the most.
yeah, after 3, yeah, it does start to get slow down. That's why, when I say, like, I'm not sure what that number of items is, that's why I really, like, go by the time more than the number of items. The time is really what stops that drive-through.
And then
The car at the window that's just stationary there and waiting for the stuff, that's what creates backup.
Will you be redoing the inside, right?
Yes.
Would you, like you said, you have 2 ovens now, would you get one where you can put more in the ovens, or?
So I already got 2 new ovens, because we're way overdue for a remodel, so I already started buying new equipment. We are gonna get a new station, like a sandwich station, that'll be more user-friendly, they can move quicker.
So it would go quicker?
Yes, and we're gonna get stuff that warmers where, you know, every fast food restaurant uses them, where you can, you know, have the stuff made and it's there for 15 minutes and you can assemble without cooking,
Huh.
stuff
So
like
it
that.
would go
There's a
quicker.
lot of different stuff that has changed with these, what Dunkin would call the next-gen stations, stores, that improve speed.
So that would
Even
improve
just-
people going through the drive-through with ordering 3 or 4 sandwiches with the improvements and the updated stuff. It will go quicker.
It will, yes. Even the tap system, if you've been in a new store, we have tap systems for iced coffee. That makes making an iced coffee so much quicker. You know, and just the layouts of the store.
Can you get on the tap?
Yes,
Does it get on tap? So you got the nitro copy too?
yes.
See, I only go to, and it's just me, I only go to Acushnet Dunkin' Donuts because I've gone to other ones and I don't like the way they make their coffee. So I'll travel here to go wherever. When I was working in Rhode Island, I'd get there at 4:30 in the morning when they opened and head all the way to Rhode Island because I wouldn't, even Rhode Island,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
There's no line at 4:30, I'm fine with that.
No, there's no line at 4:30 and you can chit chat because there was no one behind you.
Yep.
I think once everything gets moving, I think it'll be good.
Thank you.
I got one more question. Maybe, instead of coming off of Main Street, come up the side street as your entrance and push everything in a opposite
You
direction.
need to put the drive-through on the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, unfortunately, the way cars are in America, it's,
It's
the drive-through kind of needs to be on that side.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
So most stores with drive-throughs, they typically
Yes.
go counterclockwise.
Clockwise.
Yeah.
You could have here in England.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That would be great. Yeah. I guess, I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but is there any other questions? I mean, I think what we're doing is ultimately
Good
going to be
luck.
an improvement to what's out there today. But,
I mean, we'll definitely explore all these things.
yeah, I mean, I've been taking
You know,
notes, so there's a lot of things that we can go back to the traffic engineer with. And
You still, the people still gonna enter and exit the same way they do, correct?
Or the inside?
for, yeah,
The
for,
inside,
for,
the
yeah,
drive-through
for
drives on
walk-in.
Hope Street.
Oh, the drive-through's gonna exit out on Hope?
Yes.
Yes.
And then that gives them the option to either, if they understand the traffic situation, they'll either continue to go to Hope, towards Main Street, or they'll turn up Hope Street.
And the whole point of it is just to get people also to walk in. Well, and that would help you with that problem that you're saying. Like if they have a handful of sandwiches, now that walk-in is a better
I
option.
mean, with COVID, I don't know how much of your staff Lisa lost there, but I know you were hurting for people for a while.
everyone loves that.
Yeah.
Because I've gone in there, stood at the counter for 2 minutes and, you know, nobody.
That's not wrong.
I think they're still affected by it to a degree.
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Not as bad as it was about a year ago, but yeah, we feel that it's gonna last like maybe another year too.
So when you go into
But I
Dunkin'
mean-
Donuts, I'm short, so if there's no one there like where the donuts are, they don't see me, but
No.
it's not their fault, it's my fault, because I'm short. So
Yeah,
I just go,
that-
I'm
that-
here.
Yeah, that'll get fixed because of the new counters, because they have the
Right.
glass
Yeah.
windows on.
That'd be great. I I don't have to yell, I'm here.
We're putting all the machinery mostly to the back of the wall, where it's up front now and it blocks the customers, the employees from viewing the customers. So now that all the equipment is going to the back, that becomes much more open space to see them.
Yeah, they look really good. This will be nice when they're done inside.
Are you guys gonna pull it down during renovation?
Yes.
Oh,
Pushing it out.
There's your instant traffic problem solved.
guess I won't be drinking coffee.
Yeah, I don't think you want any sheetrock dust in your coffee. That'd be bad.
Nah.
I mean, you look at the one way up the north end by Trucci's there, their drive-through, that almost goes out into,
Yeah, but that's also a corporate, right? That's a corporate store for that?
No, that's a franchise. Corporate, I don't think owns.
No, not corporate. That's like the owner of franchises locally.
He owns many stores locally,
Yeah,
yeah, that
that's,
franchise.
he uses that as his offices too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that almost backs up out onto Acushnet Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how long that is.
Not much you can do about it. Their coffees are good.
Exactly.
Here you go, start making coffee.
No.
I work in Marion, okay, and there's one in Marion on Route 6.
Yeah.
Every morning. They loop around, and if any town is strict on stuff, it's Marion. They had to pull
All kinds to get one in.
teeth to get that in there, and they have all kinds of stuff they have to do. They have to put in a detention bond. There was all kinds of stuff they had to do just to get it built. So
I know my son.
they're very flexible. I know Dunkin is very flexible.
My son was at Taylor Academy,
Yeah.
and my grandchildren, my granddaughter, before she graduated, they would walk over
Mhm.
to go to like little classrooms from the toilets, and she says it's always crowded, because that's a big thing, and I was there.
They shut down CVS. They were supposed to put a CVS in there, and it got shut down. People didn't want it. So, but that goes to show you how flexible Dunkin' Donuts, the company is, as to, in terms of town ordinance.
Yeah, I mean, they want people to come in and use their store, want them to enjoy their coffee, but also want to come and grab their coffee. And that's all we're trying to do here is help everyone.
Yeah, I think it's good stuff for sure.
Is there anything else?
Good luck. Thank you.
As long as you don't have to deal with the snake.
We appreciate everyone coming out. Thank you very much.
Good, good.